Welcome to the Rockin' Yes podcast, Your Empowered Self. This is the place where we talk about healing from the inside out. We talk about connections between your health, your mind, your nervous system, your patterns, and the deeper root causes that may be keeping you stuck. Because healing is not just about chasing symptoms, it's about learning to understand your body, support it, and step back into the life you were meant to live. So if you've been feeling tired, off, overwhelmed, inflamed, foggy, or like your body is asking for help, you are in the right place. Let's get into today's episode. Today, I want to start with something I think a lot of people need to hear. Your body is not broken. It is patterned, and it also may be depleted. And I want to say that again. Your body's not broken. It may just be depleted. So I was at a seminar this past weekend, or actually 2 weekends ago, and we talked a lot about how it's very difficult if your body isn't able to work if it doesn't have all the nutrients it needs to support itself. It's kind of like you go to bake a cake and you don't have the eggs, or you don't have the right flour, or you don't have enough water. It's kind of hard to make a cake and make it happen. Well, it's kind of what happens with our body. If we have certain patterns that we are kind of always having to do, and we can't look at other things to do, that can create issues with us. But also, if we are missing some nutrient statuses that's not allowing our organs or our body or our muscles to either work, to gain energy, to build themselves, or to repair, then we can't be at 100%, and we get frustrated. We get frustrated with our body because it's not working how we want it to work. It's not energetic, it's not loving, it's not fun. So this is a whole different conversation that we need to have. So here's the thing. So many people are walking around feeling tired, foggy, inflamed. They aren't sleeping well. They're not recovering. They're bloated, irritable, low in motivation, low in energy, and just feeling off in their body. And when that goes on for a long enough time period, people start blaming themselves. We play the blame game, and we start beating ourselves up for not being good enough, or perfect enough, or worthy, or our body's just broken, or it's just because I'm aging, it's because I'm old. Here's the thing, those are all limiting beliefs. Those are all beliefs that have held you back. And they keep holding you back from actually living the life you want, and to having the body you want, and having the life you want. So what we have to do is we have to start looking at things from a whole different perspective. You might also be thinking you have to try harder. You have to work out harder. You have to eat better. You have to do all this. You have to have this huge discipline, because if you're not doing something, then something is wrong. And you're thinking maybe this is just how life is. Kind of reminds me of that movie with oh goodness, what if this is the best it can be? He walked out of his therapy session. It was um oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm forgetting the names. I'll remember it at some point, and it'll just come out, and we're in this podcast, and I'll just remember. It's like something's got to give, or oh my God, I might just, while we're talking, have to do a quick search on that. But yeah, so it's just like he walks out and he just looks at the people that are sitting, and he's like, what if this is the best it ever gets? But the thing is, here's the other concept. I was at a retreat this past summer, and they made you think of things a little bit differently. So we were all feeling like awesome. Like this was just like the most amazing thing ever. And they said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling, with 10 being the best? And we're all like, this is a 10. This is amazing. They're like, what if? What if this is really only a 2? What if things could get even better? I mean, that just kind of blows your mind apart thinking, wait a second, you mean things can get even better? What if this is really just a 2? So that's a whole different way. It's like, are you looking at the glass from half empty or half full? That's like taking it and being like, okay, I'm at a 10, I feel amazing. But what if that's really a 2? So now we're looking at you don't feel well, right? You're like thinking, maybe my life only feels like a 5. Well, what if that 5 was only a 2? What if you knew that you had all this huge improvement you can do, that you really can turn your life around? And here's the thing I want you to know is you can. You can absolutely shift and change and turn your life around, turn your body around. There, the excuses of age, the excuses of you don't have enough time, the excuses you're not good enough, they're strong enough, you're not this enough, you're not whatever. Those are excuses. And you have excuseitis. So we need to lose the excuses, calm them down, reframe them. Because I've known people that starting at age 60, 65, they decide that they want to like weight lift and go into bodybuilding. And guess what? They do it and they look amazing and they become in the best shape of their lives. So yeah, you can. There's been people that will start weightlifting and within a year or so, their body's completely transformed because they were consistent. So consistency is key. So I want you to know you can do it. There are people that are 80 that have serious health issues. And when they actually do the work and they actually do the things that actually help their body heal, they completely shift and they get to feel like they're young again. They get to actually feel good. And that is very possible for you. Okay. So no matter what age you are, even young kids, there's young kids that have really bad health issues. And guess what? When you give them the chance and you teach them the right foods and what their body really needs and to keep the things that are causing their body to be sick out, they feel better. And here's the thing is you don't feel well. You may have gone to the doctor and your chest come back saying you're normal. And now you're really frustrated because you're like, they say I'm normal, but I don't feel normal. But here's the thing. There's different ways of reading tests. There's different ways of testing. There's different ways of actually figuring things out. So when the medical system says you feel normal, there's a good chance that there's something else going on. You could have a micronutrient deficiency. You could be eating foods that are actually inflaming your body. You could have the labs that are in the traditional medical world. You might be just right on the edge. And because you aren't in their world classified as bad enough, you don't have a diagnosis. But in functional medicine world, we're looking at it, hey, you're not in optimal status. You're moving away from optimal. So therefore we have a healing opportunity. It's a whole different way that you look at it. You reframe how you're looking at things. You're looking at ways to heal, healing opportunities. So let's get back to some of my show notes here again, see where we go, because, I like to go on tangents here. So it's kind of fun, right? So we've kind of talked all about this. So you're feeling frustrated because guess what? They don't have answers. You're told you're normal, but you don't feel good. And what I want to offer today is this, that sometimes the issue is not your body is failing, but sometimes the issue is that your body is under supported. Sometimes it's depleted. Sometimes it's inflamed. Sometimes it's under stress. Sometimes it's not absorbing well. And sometimes it is trying to compensate for a long time with not enough resources. And eventually the body starts waving little flags like, hey, I need a little bit of this over here and I need a little bit of this over here. And if you're not seeing the flags, if you're not listening to your body, because the symptoms are letting you know, it's not betraying you. It's trying to ask for help. And that's an important shift when we start looking at your body as the symptoms as being signs that your body is asking for help. Because when you think your body is broken, you fight it. You think there's something you have to fix. You put this pressure on yourself and you get frustrated with it and you stop trusting your body and you even resent it. But here's the thing, I want you to get curious. I want you to think, what am I trying to create? What am I trying to create with my life, my body? So instead of coming at it like, I have to fix this, think about, how can I create something? What do I want to create my body? Start looking at it a different way. But when you begin to understand your body may actually be doing the best it can with what it has, everything can change. Again, what do you want to create? What's it going to take for your body? What nutrients, what resources, what does it need? So now we're asking that question. That's a better question, right? Instead of what's wrong with me, it's what is my body missing? What has my body carrying, and what is draining it? What is blocking it from functioning the way it was designed to function? We need to break through all of that so you can be free. That is where the root cause conversation begins here, because your body needs resources to do all the things you expect it to do. It needs resources to make energy. It needs resources to think clearly. It needs resources to regulate your mood. It needs resources to sleep well. It needs resources to heal, to detoxify, to repair, to manage inflammation, to support your hormones and recover from stress. And when it doesn't have those resources, things will start to slip. Maybe not all at once, maybe slowly. Maybe first it looks like fatigue. Then you're craving sugar or salt or, coffee, caffeine, anything. Then poor sleep. Now you're more irritable. Then the brain fog and you can't think straight and you aren't remembering things how you used to remember things and you're beginning to think something's wrong. Then you have a slower recovery every time you go to work out, things just don't recover, or you're just going and playing in the garden and you're so sore afterwards. Then you get more inflammation. Then you start leaning on the caffeine and you push harder. And then it's the sugar and you push. And you just keep thinking, I need to just work harder. And then you start wondering, why is my body not cooperating with me? And now you're trying to function on an empty tank. That doesn't mean you're lazy. It doesn't mean you're weak. It does not mean you're broken. It just means your body's depleted. It's on empty. We got to fill her back up. There's a lot of ways you can fill up your body. So one of the biggest reasons your body is depleted is stress. And stress is a major nutrient drain. And I do not just mean emotional stress, although yes, that matters too. I mean the whole stress load. Mental stress, work stress, relationship stress, poor sleep, blood sugar stress, inflammation, digestive stress, overtraining, undereating, toxin exposure, hidden infections. The pressure of always pushing, always performing, always showing up, always taking care of everybody else while ignoring what your body has been trying to tell you. That all counts. And your body has to keep adapting to that. So when your stress is high, your body uses resources faster. It asks more from your nervous system and more from your hormones, more from your detox pathways, more from your immune system, and more from your brain. And if stress is high and support is low, eventually your body lets you know. This is one reason someone can look great on the outside. You just look at them and you're like, hey, you look just fine. You look healthy. You look good. But on the inside doesn't feel like that. The inside is just trying to keep going. It's not. It's empty. So you're functioning and you're showing up and you're getting through the day. But your body is quietly asking for help. And this is where nutrients matter so much. There's actually a lot of things, even the mental part of it, the breakthrough side of this. But today we're going to talk about the nutrient side. So as these series goes and as this podcast goes, I just want to let you know that there's going to be so many different things. We're going to talk about how you can become your empowered self, but it's also about breaking through that. So you are your empowered self. It's about being you, being true, and being free. So let's talk about some nutrients, because nutrients are not just a bonus. They are not just a nice extra. They are part of how your body functions. They are part of how your body does its job. So let's talk about just a few examples. One is magnesium. Magnesium is involved in so many things in your body. It plays a role in muscle relaxation, in nervous system regulation, in sleep, in mood, energy production, and stress resilience. So when someone is low in magnesium, what might that look like? It might look like trouble winding down, trouble relaxing, feeling more tense, feeling more wired, feeling more irritable, poor sleep, and feeling like your body just cannot settle. Now, does that mean magnesium is the magic answer to everything? No, it's just one of the key components. But it is a really good example of how nutrients can affect a lot of body systems. And the other thing with magnesium, here's another example. So say your body does actually have enough. Say at one point in time in your life, your body had enough nutrients, enough everything, which doesn't usually happen unless you've been doing already a good job of supplementing and then you stopped and you had a huge amount of stress. Because what happens is every time you're under stress, it's taking more and more and more from your nutrients. So when you're under stress, you got to put these nutrients back in. And stress can be good stress or bad stress. Either one is stress on the body. You got to make sure you're filling your tank up no matter what. So another example is your B vitamins. And B vitamins are so important for energy production, brain function, nervous system support, and how the body handles stress. And there's quite a few B vitamins. And if you have any methylation factors, you want to have methylated vitamin B. So I have an amazing vitamin B in the office. It's methylated vitamin B, and it is got like all your vitamin Bs, and they're all methylated, and they're most highly absorbable vitamin B. Gotta love it. But anyways, when you're dragging and foggy and burned out and not feeling mentally sharp and struggling to keep up, B vitamins are part of that conversation. I even remember I had a friend, and when she would get low on vitamin Bs, she would just majorly stress out, and her mother-in-law would be like, here you go, take some vitamin Bs. And she'd take it, and like all of a sudden she'd start like being able to normalize out and like be more relaxed and be able to sleep and be able to process things in a completely different way. She wasn't flying off the handle. So it's kind of interesting how even like the generations before us knew about this, and they would be like, instead of giving you a drug, is hey, have some vitamin Bs. You're under stress. Again, not because we just start throwing supplements at the problem. So again, it's yes, vitamin Bs, and yes, I just said, she gave it to her. But here's the other thing is if you're not deficient, you may not even feel a result from taking that vitamin. That's why we want to test and not guess. We want to actually know what's going on in your body so that we can make sure that it's making the energy it needs. So when I run my tests, I use tests that actually look inside the cell. So a lot of tests do the serum, and that's important too. But we actually want to know what's also getting in the cell so that your cells actually have the energy. If it's just floating around in the serum in the blood and it's not actually getting into the cell itself, it's not doing much good, is it? I mean, it's just like you have all the ingredients for your cake, right? And if all the ingredients are sitting around, but none of them are getting into the mixing pan so that you can mix them, it's not going to work, right? Okay. All right, let's talk about omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are important for brain health, inflammation, balance, cell membranes, mood, and overall function. So if someone is feeling inflamed, foggy, off, or like their body is just not cooperating smoothly, this can be another piece of the bigger picture. So the point here is not to make this complicated. The point is this: when your body does not have what it needs, it cannot perform the way you want it to. And then when you layer stress on top of that, and poor gut function on top of it, and inflammation, you pile that all up, it becomes easy to see why someone can be trying really hard and be healthy and still not feel good. Because here's another huge piece. Gut health affects how the body functions. You can be eating good food, but if digestion is off, if stomach acid is off, if the gut lining is irritated, if their microbiome is out of balance, or there's inflammation or dysfunction in the gut, then the body may not be breaking down and absorbing and using nutrients as well as it should. So now it is not just about what you are eating, it is also about what your body can actually do with it. And that matters. This is one reason people get so discouraged. They say, but I'm trying and I'm eating better and I'm cutting things out and I'm taking supplements and I'm doing the things. And still they feel off. That is because the body is not just one symptom and it's not just one system. You are not just a thyroid. You are not just a gut. You are not just your hormones. You are not just your sleep issues. You are not just your stress. The body is connected. Sleep problems are not always just about sleep. Fatigue is not always just about being tired. Brain fog is not always just about focus. Bloating is not always just about food. Mood changes are not always just in your head. This is why whole body healing matters. Because if we only look at one small piece, we can miss the bigger story. It's kind of like a puzzle. If you're only looking at one little piece of the puzzle, you can't see the whole picture. And that is exactly where so many people get stuck. They start chasing symptoms. One thing for sleep, one thing for energy, another thing for digestion, something else for mood, and then another diet, then another protocol, then more restriction, then another supplement they saw online, then more confusion, then more frustration. And it gets exhausting. This is why I say so often, testing is better than guessing. Because guessing may keep you busy, but it does not always move you forward. Testing gives us more information. It helps us look at patterns. It helps us ask better questions. It helps us see where the body may be depleted, stressed, inflamed, or needing support. And it helps us begin to move from just asking what is normal to asking what is optimal. Because we want to live optimally, not just on the border of between healthy and sick. Because normal does not always mean you feel well. You can be told your labs are still normal and still be tired, still be foggy, still have poor sleep, still be inflamed, still struggle with your digestion, and still feel like your body is not operating the way it should. That does not mean you are making it up. It may mean we have not looked deeply enough yet. And functional health is really about the deeper look. Not just, do you have a diagnosis? But also, where is your body asking for support? Where is it under stress? Where is it depleted? Where is it compensating? Where are the healing opportunities? That is a much more empowering conversation. Because now we are not just waiting for something to get worse. We are listening sooner. We are paying attention to the whispers before they become screams. And this is one reason I am so passionate about helping people connect the dots. Because when you understand that your body may be depleted instead of broken, you stop making yourself the problem. And once the shame starts to lift, You can begin supporting your body in a more loving, strategic, and effective way. You can start asking, what does my body need? What is draining it? What do we need to test? What systems need support? What is the right next step for me? That is where hope comes back in. Because now you are not just stuck in frustration. Now there is a path. And this episode is really the beginning of that conversation. Over the next several episodes, I am going to be talking more about stress and how it drains the body. We're going to talk more about why normal does not always mean optimal. And we are going to talk about why you are not just a symptom. And we are going to talk about why testing versus guessing can completely change your healing journey. So if this episode resonated with you, stay with me, because this is exactly the kind of conversation that helps people stop spinning and start understanding what their body may really need. And if you have been feeling like your body is off, but you cannot quite explain why, I want to remind you again, your body is not the enemy. It may be asking for support. It may be depleted. It may be under stress. It may be missing key pieces. And when you begin to look deeper, things can start to make a whole lot more sense. Thank you for being here with me today on the Rock and Yes podcast, Your Empowered Self. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who may need this reminder too. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start getting clear about what your body may need, that is exactly the work I love to do. Until next time, keep listening to your body, keep honoring what it is telling you, and remember, healing starts from within.